What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wrestling Junkies Podcast. I'm Mr. Cincinnati, and joining me today is my pain in the ass co-host who managed to piss me off right before showtime. The podcast dad. How you doing? Go fuck yourself.
You know how I'm doing. This is my flu game. Hope everybody can hear me well, but I am hopped up on all kinds of cold medicine, chewing on some halls. Let's get into it.
Yeah, because quite frankly, I'm sick of you already. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. As always, make sure you're following us at Junkies Pod on X for all things Wrestling Junkies Podcast. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Junkies Pod. But most importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. Right now, we have 372, and our goal is to get to 400 by the end of the month. Chris, I may not care for you very much so right now, but what's that magic number? You acknowledging me, or you giving the magic number?
I would never acknowledge you. You are not King Chris. But magic number is 1.
I acknowledge you.
Well, it's the same number of championships the Eagles have. So 1. Please tell how many Bengals have one person get to know this podcast. We have fun here. Guy looks like Bart Simpson right now with his hat. It's going to be great. Let's have some fun.
Hey, he's iconic. You know what? I'll take that. That's fine. That's the nicest thing that you've said to me in the last half hour.
I miss them.
I know, right? They actually would be a great addition to the tag team division right now. It would be a lot of fun to see them mix it up with Chelsea and Piper.
Yes.
There's your new. That might be a universe idea, actually.
Well, you just got a new portable PlayStation PSP, so you can play that.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to do that. While you're online, make sure you're following our friends at the Main Event Wrestling Network. If you want great podcasts, fan art, memes, blogs, you name it, we have it. A brand new Vicious Rants dropped on the channel. Make sure to check that out. Tim Vicious does phenomenal work. Incredible group of people that we work with, so make sure you're giving them a follow. What's a wrestling podcast without a little bit of merch? Make sure you go support our merch store. Buy yourself a mug, a beanie, a hoodie, tank top. You name it, we have it within reason. But yeah, no, it's everything that we earn. That's how we are able to reinvest into the world of pro wrestling. So go get your merch today. While you're on that shopping spree, go check out our friends at Gorilla Press Apparel, gorillapressapparel.bigcartel.com. Make sure that you are using promo code WJP2024 at checkout for 25% off site-wide. And today is the very last day to get your guesses in for Trivia Tuesday. We need those in by 11:59 tonight. All the correct guesses will be entered into a raffle, and the winner will get a $20 gift card to Gorilla Press Apparel. If you've not seen the question yet, here it is. There are 4 men who competed at the first Starrcade and the first WrestleMania. Who are they? This is a great question from Will at Gorilla Press. So definitely make sure you get those guesses in. You don't want to miss out on your chance to get a $20 promo code to Gorilla Press Apparel. And if you are a wrestler, promoter, referee, you need some merch for those tables on the weekends, do DM Will. They are taking commissions right now and do phenomenal work. Gary J's Unsigned and Don't Care t-shirt has been flying off the shelves, so you might want to go check that out. And what up? Shout out to the Sports for You Wrestling Podcast. Good to see you guys in the chat tonight. Make sure that you go give them a follow on YouTube as well. They also do incredible work. So glad to see you guys here tonight. I have talked enough. I think it's time to introduce our guest, bud.
I think you should do a lot of the talking tonight because I am hopped up on cold medicine. But yes, we should introduce the guest because, quite frankly, everyone is tired of hearing me.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Tonight we are thrilled to be joined by what?
You good? You froze up for a second.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It's your fault that I'm like this right now. You fucking started it. But Wusa, okay. Yeah, we're good. Now we are here to join. We're joined by Jack Irene tonight. He's one of the co-owners of WrestleRave down in Houston, Texas. They have 2 incredible shows coming up. One this weekend, their Death Triad 3 event, and the monumental King of the Mountain event in January 2025 to crown a new WrestleRave champion. They're setting the bar high for indie wrestling promotions, and not to mention one of their standout talents, Cappuccino Jones, was recently selected for WWE's ID program. So, without further ado, we're going to dive into life with the wrestling promoter. Please welcome Jack Irene to the stream. Jack, what is going on, man? How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm feeling great. It's good to see y'all again.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Likewise. Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to get together with you guys. We've supported you guys in the past. You're just an incredible group of people. So wanted to come on and catch up with you a little bit here. It's been, at this point, it feels like 2024 has flown by, but we're just going to take it back in our Wayback Machine a little bit for our audience that is not familiar with you or WrestleRave. Tell us about some of your early memories in pro wrestling and your foray into the business as a promoter.
Yeah, so it starts for me, the earliest memory that I have in my body is watching wrestling. What is up, Robert? That is one of WrestleRave's main guys right there.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so from the dawn of my existence, I've been watching wrestling, consuming wrestling, just nonstop, obsessed. So running a promotion was naturally always a dream. And whenever the wrestling scene in Houston just blew up with this new venue, Houston Premier Arena, it provided an accessible path to promoting wrestling. And it's just one of those stories, you hear it all the time, always chase your dreams. It's cliche, but in wrestling especially, there's no guidelines to what you have to be successful in wrestling. And I can't stress that enough in my own experiences, accomplishing things that I never even imagined. So
what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced being a promoter, whether that's over the last couple of years or whether that's, kind of the stuff that you're facing today? Like, how would you compare both eras that you've kind of been promoting in so far?
That's a great question. So when we started, it's naturally, who are we booking? Who are we booking against who? You're playing fantasy booker, only for real this time. And that can work. That can create wrestling matches, but over time, you don't want to make wrestling matches. You want to make a business, because making wrestling matches isn't sustainable. So not necessarily a difficulty, but a challenge, as you said, in challenging ourselves, is learning how to make this a business and creating something more sustainable for us and for the wrestlers that we book. And I think in 2025, you're going to see a lot of that implemented. In our hiatus, we've had so much time to really analyze the business side of WrestleRave, and it's going to really amplify what we're doing for live shows.
Hell yeah. Love that. And, kind of along those lines, tell us a little bit about the current wrestling scene in Texas and where does WrestleRave fit into the overall context of Texas wrestling?
Yeah, I think that's a good question too. You have a lot of different promotions in Texas. Houston alone, New Texas Pro Wrestling really, in my opinion, sets the standard as a pure independent Texas wrestling promotion. You have Reality of Wrestling run by Booker T. That's a powerhouse. And, I think every promotion brings a different flavor. And I think that's essential to what WrestleRave is going to be doing going forward, especially finding your identity and showing people how you can be unique. That's how you stand out in even a crowded scene like Houston. As Robert's saying, Houston has a badass indie scene. And it's hard to compete at times with that. But when you're doing your own thing and you're giving them a genuine product from the heart, it's such a supportive fan base that, sky's the limit.
Let's talk about Death Triad 3 this weekend. What can fans expect from this, use the word unique, 8 one-night tournament that you guys have?
Yeah, and that's one of the things we try to do to stand out, our unique tentpole events like that. Death Triad is the most violent, the most unpredictable, the craziest night of the year for WrestleRave. If you've been to one of our old Death Triad shows, if you've seen it online, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It'll leave your mouth wide open. What's up, Fight Forever Wrestling Vlog? They know what I'm talking about. It's some of the highlights from our past 2 Death Triads. There is blood, as Robert said. It's not for everyone, but the people that do enjoy it, oh my. The rabid fans that will be there on Saturday night, they're going to show out. They have so much passion. I love those guys. And this night is for them. It's one night out of the year, we throw out all the rules and give them 9 wrestlers, 1 champion, one night story.
Love it. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for Chris here, but I do love a good death match. Sometimes I got to scratch that itch. So, this is, I'm really excited about this one. When it comes to, selecting names to appear on these shows, what are you looking for, as far as what experience you want to bring, to the fans? I mean, it's such a niche medium within the world of pro wrestling that, it's certainly, you want to have the right talent here. What do you do to evaluate who appears at these Death Triad events?
Yeah. So, Fight Forever. Yeah. It is a unique take on a violent style of wrestling, and not everyone can do it. It's a lot of it's mental, and working closely with these guys, you can see who gets excited for this. The fans get excited. The wrestlers get even more excited. They enjoy the thrill of rolling around in glass and all these kinds of crazy ideas that they have an idea that can win Death Triad. But you see that energy, and that's something that you realize has to be part of a show like this, because Death Triad is a huge event. It's delivered so much to the point that people have expectations of it. It's our highest grossing pre-sale of all time this year.
Wow.
So you need guys that will deliver. You need guys that are going to put their all into a crazy environment like Death Triad. And I think on Saturday night, we have a good mix of talent that's going to give it their all.
Yeah.
Fucking nice.
Another big show coming up, King of the Mountain in January, where you will crown a new WrestleRave champion. That's a pretty big deal. How significant do you see this event being for the promotion in its future?
That's another great question. It's huge. It's not only the start of a new year, it's the start of a new era for WrestleRave. And that's another cliche for you, but it really is. It's going to show all of our supporters and the entire wrestling scene what we really have to offer. In the past, not to be judgmental of our own shows in the past, they're great shows. We were thinking small. This is now something that we can take and really expand on. And that's our goal in 2025. And that starts with King of the Mountain, where we will usher in that new era, and you'll see some changes. And it's not going to be overnight, but through 2025 and by 2026, WrestleRave is going to look very different.
Love it. And especially, we're seeing the wrestling landscape change significantly, certainly over the last few weeks with the introduction of WWE's ID program. And Cappuccino Jones has appeared for WrestleRave on a few occasions. I think is booked for you guys either January or February of next year. I mean, this is huge for him. So as a promoter, what does it mean to you to have somebody that, has worked your shows and is a bit of a mainstay at WrestleRave to be selected for this one-of-a-kind program?
Oh, it's so cool. Cappuccino, he's new to wrestling. He's, I want to say he debuted a couple years ago. And with that being said, we were able to see him from the very start. And honestly, he's one of those guys, I've seen so many wrestlers at this point, whether it's on TV or live in person, you can feel that it factor with a certain set of guys. And Cappuccino Jones was one of those guys that he understands what it takes to be a star along with being a wrestler. And it takes both. It takes both to get on the radar of WWE ID or something like that, and he always struck us as someone with potential. And that's why we've stuck by him and committed to him. And we're glad we did. He's sky's the limit for him. He's got it all.
So how do you as a promoter prepare your talent for the bigger stages like a WWE or like an AEW or like an NWA or something like that?
So that's another great question. I'm very passionate about wrestlers being themselves, and wrestlers, obviously a lot of the goals for professional wrestlers are to make it their livelihood. You want a salary in pro wrestling. And you're going to get that from these television companies. They're also expecting a certain style from you. And I don't think wrestling to cater to that style is necessarily great for the overall independent scene. Now at WrestleRave, we really push the fact that you get freedom to do whatever you want to do. You know, I mean, I don't want you to start hitting babies or anything, but, you know, it's an open playing field as far as creativity goes. And that's what independent wrestling was built on. You know, it was built on guys from all over the world traveled experiences, meeting and blending their styles. And if you're good enough, they're going to find you, you know? So I'm just glad we can be a platform where wrestlers can be themselves and hopefully get noticed.
Great answer. Yeah. I mean, it's again, and it's still such a unique program, and I think there's still a lot more questions than answers, when it comes to it. But the caliber of talent that we are seeing that have been selected for this program already, Marcus Mathers, Sam Holloway, Aaron Rourke, Zeta Steele, it's just a who's who of the indies right now. So it is really exciting, and we definitely can't wait to hear more about the program and how it can benefit companies like WrestleRave. But let's turn our attention to WrestleRave fans for a second. For those that have not experienced WrestleRave yet, what would you say to anybody in the Houston area to get them to come check out Death Triad this weekend?
Death Triad, it seriously is one of a kind. We only do it once a year for a reason, because it is completely insane. As a promoter, I feel like a fan watching it, and it makes me scared at times because I don't know what's going to happen next. But that's exciting, and I want y'all to join me. In fact, first person to message me on Twitter, Instagram, I don't care what it is, listening on this podcast, you will get a free ticket to any WrestleRave event you want. Okay, I'm telling you, if you come to the show, if you watch us on YouTube, you're going to get something special, especially going forward. This is a product with a team that just cares, and that goes such a long way in any business.
Wow. Hey, what a deal.
Yeah,
what a deal.
Hey, can't beat a free, man. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, make sure.
And y'all can thank the Wrestling Junkies Podcast for that.
WrestleRave.
The Wrestling Junkies Podcast. These are the guys.
No.
We appreciate
let's
that.
keep it on. Let's keep it on the fan aspect. What's one thing about being a wrestling promoter that fans might not know, but they should know?
That's a great question as well.
I keep
I mean, I would say it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I think people know that by now. You know, it's we see the chaos of, Tony Khan gets picked on so much for what he does, and his job is not easy at all. So I think that goes without saying, though. And something about being a promoter, I love that I can still be a fan. I watch wrestling every week. I consume it every day, and I'm just like, it's a dream to be a fan that can write their own story. And I love to connect with people over that. It's really beautiful. It's not, I'm just trying to create a dream,
Great answer.
Love it. Well, Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you again for joining us. Everybody can check out Death Triad 3 this weekend in Houston, Texas. Follow at WrestleRave HTX on X, and you can find Jack on X at Jack WrestleRave. Remember to DM him if you want your chance at a free ticket to Death Triad this weekend or any other show of your choosing, courtesy of the Wrestling Junkies Podcast. Jack, thank you so much again. Always great to catch up with you. Hope to have you back soon.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back. Y'all have a good one.
Sounds great. You take care. Thanks. Thank you again to Jack Irene for joining us. And thank you to everybody that is watching out there tonight. As always, make sure that you follow us at Junkies Pod for all things Wrestling Junkies Podcast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, but please, please, please follow subscribe to our YouTube channel. I apologize. I can't talk right now.
It's okay. You're doing great.
We're on the road to 400 subscribers right now. Want to get there by the end of the month. Do us a favor. Just share our show with one person. If they like it, great. If not, Now, well, what are you going to do? But it's not going to stop us from being us. So make sure that you give us a follow our friends at the Main Event Wrestling Network. And there's still time to get your guests in for Trivia Tuesday. Have to be in by 11:59 tonight. There are 4 men who competed at the first Starrcade and the first WrestleMania. Who are they? DM us your guesses on X. All correct guesses will be entered into a raffle, and the winner will get a $20 promo code to our friends at Gorilla Press Apparel. Podcast Dad, Monday Night Raw is in the books.
Yes, it is.
How we feeling?
Rhea Ripley's back, and I love it.
That surprised the hell out of me. That was the
Okay.
last thing that I would have seen coming as far as a spoiler for a tape show last night.
Dude, it makes War Games feel so much bigger. We talked last week about how I didn't really want War Games just to be War Games, and now that Rhea's involved, you got Team Rhea. The way she comes out, she just says War Games, and they just all start brawling. Like, this feels like a legit War Games match now. So I'm very happy that she's back, and I'm very happy that she's involved. And
hello to Double Nine Animation in the chats last night. He is asking, or tonight, I should say, have you mostly seen Royal Rumble? He's saying he's got some potential trivia for us. If you want to DM us on X, we'll take a look. If you do submit trivia to us, that does not make you eligible for the prize, but we're always welcome to any trivia that is related to wrestling, just because it's good shit. Now, yeah. I mean, and this was a perfect segment here. I mean, getting Liv and Rhea to bookend this overall first segment, and it really didn't take much. It was just War Games and a headbutt to the face.
Exactly.
It was perfect. Yeah,
exactly. That's all it was. War Games, headbutt, we're in, and that's all you needed. I don't need a big long promo battle between these two. We know why they hate each other, and it deserves to be in War Games. So let's go. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm just glad that they were able to salvage this. I mean, again, having Rhea get seriously injured again during this feud, especially before what is essentially going. I mean, I won't say the blow off here, but it's going to get us closer to it. If Rhea gets the win here in War Games, then that's I would imagine that we'll probably get Rhea versus Liv at Saturday night's main event.
Which one? Apparently, there's going to be 2.
Oh, I did. I just forgot about that.
Yeah, so they got one in December, and then they got one, I think, before the Rumble, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think maybe a week or 2. Yeah.
I would say the one in December, so we could continue to move this feud and move on.
Yeah. Double Nine also hates the fact that Randy got injured. I mean, this is a great story here. They don't use the pile driver often. The camera, I think they could have cut to a different camera so we don't show it being safely taken. They did everything right with it. But, what's that?
So safe.
Yeah.
It was. He took it on the thighs. But hey, great job by Kevin Owens protecting the guy you're working with.
That's what you're supposed to be doing.
How do you feel about the portrayal of Gunther in this feud so far?
So I liked the backstage segment with Gunther and Priest last night, the attempted sneak attack, because the logic is there. And Priest already said, in the ring, you're the general. I'm king of the streets. I mean, if there's one person in those street fights and having to watch your back at all times, it's Damian Priest. And this is something that it's a small step in the right direction towards helping him kind of get back to that white hot relevancy that he had, during this world title run, and he was an over babyface, but he was too mixed up with the Judgment Day entirely too long. The Terror Twins story got stale. This is a step in the right direction. So I definitely like it. I like it for Priest.
I like it for Priest.
That?
I don't know if I like it for Gunther as much. A lot of vulnerability being shown.
But I think that every once in a while you have to have that.
I would say that if I would believe within a shadow of a doubt that Priest had a lick of a chance to beat it.
Yeah. Okay.
But do you think Priest is going to beat him?
Do I? No, I don't. I don't think so. No, but there are people out there that do.
Like, I feel like this would have been a great spot if it was Punk. Because Punk is someone who you can go, okay, they might actually do this with Punk.
Yeah.
Right? Or a Drew
like
McIntyre
you said,
or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's like, I just don't. And I know Priest was the champion, and he was a good champion. I don't think he's going to beat Gunther, and that is what it is. But I would have chosen a different opponent to make him kind of feel vulnerable.
Yeah, and I feel like that's eventually a problem they're going to continue to run in with a talent like Gunther, is that eventually somebody's going to have to make him look vulnerable. He can't be invincible all the time, and that's eventually going to be it, is because now we're going to talk about who realistically is going to take the title off of Gunther. Is it going to be Rollins? Is it going to be McIntyre? Is it going to be Punk? I mean, at this point, we're still waiting to see if Punk comes back. And I know you mentioned last night, you think, hey, that could be a fun way to do the go home show. Yes, that's an option as well. There are a lot of names, but like I said, I think that I like the fact that they're making him look at least somewhat vulnerable, and it was thwarting a sneak attack. So it's not like he was getting his ass handed to him in a wrestling contest. So that also makes me feel relatively okay with this. Is Gunther's not a street fighter. Damian Priest is.
Who's on your shirt?
This is Unkillable Braden Toon.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I was looking at the shirt. I'm like, oh, that's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed beat Seth Rollins.
Yes, he did.
There's Bronson Reed's win.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think that you needed I don't think that you needed the bloodline interference in that particular story.
You don't need him in the story. We don't need him.
I mean, I know that we don't, whether you like it or not. It's there. It's just what it is. Okay. It's shoulda, coulda, woulda, out the fucking window. But I just don't think last night they needed it. What's that?
Doesn't mean my ass doesn't have to be chapped.
I know, and I'm not saying have at it. I mean, that's feel however you want to feel about it, whether we like it or not. That's kind of where they have gone with this. So Seth Rollins is probably going to say, you know what, I'm in.
Yeah.
Wrestling's a soap opera, okay? Ooh, I do really want that. It's. I've really enjoyed babyface Sami Zayn, especially coming off of the Bloodline story, but this will be good for him. This will be good for him.
He's got the same mentality as like a KO. Like, it's the same logic. We've been going up against him for how long? And
where the fuck have you been? Are you just now getting into the chats here?
Hey, Kyle. I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see him too. I'm just saying he's just really, really late. And to be fair, you kind of pissed me off before the show, so like that's why I'm a little.
Anything else from Raw, my friend? I'm fading.
I loved the pre-tape with Karrion Kross and The Miz. I really did enjoy that because Miz, it's been a while since he's had that edge. We know he's cocky. We know he's an asshole, but it's been a while since he has had a serious story that he can sink his teeth into that has a little bit more drama than the comedy, especially coming off of the run with R-Truth. No notes. Fucking brilliant.
No, it was good. It was good. Karrion Kross is actually being used well.
Follow Kyle's Twitch stream. And yes, he is being used properly here. I mean, that's
it's crazy.
It's finally starting to feel like they've got their sea legs under them with the Final Testament. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't see this being a match.
Like they feel like a legitimate threat to things now. I would, good for them, man.
Yeah. And it's I don't see this being a match that happens at Survivor Series, but I could see this on Saturday night's main event.
Maybe I could see it. I could see it happening at Survivor Series. It's just me.
Okay. No, that's fine. Great pre-tapes for Dakota Kai as well as Lyra Valkyria, trying to establish some additional single stars for the women's division. The U.S. title is going to be defended across all 3 shows, right?
Allegedly.
Or is it just SmackDown? Okay.
It says just SmackDown right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
It says like internally the Raw talent is not involved. Like that's why they weren't in the tournament at all.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they don't, and they haven't been given an explanation why. This is all, this is all dirt sheet shit. But
yeah,
who knows?
Only one final thing I would want to talk about on when it comes to Monday Night Raw is they have a Chad Gable problem again.
Yep, they do.
They should not have lost that match.
That's why I didn't buy into it, man. That's why I'm not buying into Nakamura. Until they prove me wrong, I'm not going to buy into this, man. No, I'm not. Because you can't tell me. This is it. Same regime that had Nakamura challenging Seth Rollins for that title at Fastlane, which he should have won. And then he fell off the face of the earth.
Final
so,
lie.
No, I don't think they have a Chad Gable problem. I think they have a booking problem. He's too good. Like, I don't understand how he's booked badly.
Yeah, I mean he's under contract. For the foreseeable future, signed a new deal this year. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But they definitely need a little bit more love. But Podcast Dad, I know that you're a little under the weather, so we're gonna try to get you out of here and recuperating. So thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. Make sure once again you follow us at Junkies Pod, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Yes, there are a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Gable is on TV weekly, but he's also losing on TV a lot. So that's it's gonna make some people want to pull their.
When was the last time Gable won?
I don't know. That's a cage match question.
Yeah.
No.
Hey guys, love you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Make sure you get your guesses in for Trivia Tuesday by 11:59 tonight. Again, one lucky winner will receive a $20 promo code to Gorilla Press Apparel. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, and thank you. That is going to do it for us tonight for the Podcast Dad. I am Mr. Cincinnati. Thank you again to Jack Irene from WrestleRave. This has been the Wrestling Junkies Podcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.